On with Alicia Erickson on the You're Not Broken podcast. Welcome. Thank you for coming on my podcast.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. You're one of my besties.
I was like, when did the we happen? I think it was like I started following you. I don't know why, mostly because I follow buff chicks who work out. And then I was like, oh, she's in Washington. Oh, she's like off I-5. Okay,
I know.
This is pretty good.
We're literally an hour from each other?
Yeah, I know.
A little over an hour.
It's so good.
Yeah, and then I came to the movie for the premiere. I didn't get to meet you because it was a full crowd.
Oh, you came up to the Bellingham one.
Yeah.
Yes. 2026, second documentary's coming out. Do you know this?
Oh, no.
Yes. M Factor 2.0.
What?
Before the pause. It's all about perimenopause.
Oh my gosh. Okay, when?
Let's see. I'm going to the LA premiere in January. Seattle is January. I don't remember. The second to last weekend in January is the LA premiere, and then Seattle is going to be February 11th, and then Bellingham is likely going to be March 22nd.
Oh my gosh, maybe I need to come to the Seattle one. I want to see it.
So yeah, you should come to Seattle or Bellingham, whatever's closer.
I love it.
So I know.
Oh, I'm so pumped.
Spoiler alert, I'm in it.
Yes. Oh no, everybody will be so excited about that.
Oh, dude, I think like as much as for anybody who doesn't know the M Factor documentary, PBS did an M Factor documentary 2 years ago now about menopause. It's phenomenal if you can get your hands on it. And they're doing the second one, it's just perimenopause 2026. And I think it's going to be, I think we're watching it today. Like everybody who's in it is watching it today, so we can all get on the same page. It's as good, if not better.
I think that, honestly, I think that is probably an area where people have even more questions is around perimenopause, because it's such a fluctuation of things going on that I think that's going to be
perimenopause is so crazy.
Beneficial. It is. I mean,
it's crazy.
I will never forget one time you talked about how, your hormones coming online as adolescents. So think about how crazy in your adolescence. So perimenopause, your hormones starting to go offline. Just think about, this is why we think we're crazy, but no.
No, you're just reverse puberty. Yeah. Pubertying. With having kids and relationships and jobs and like actual responsibilities that you didn't have to worry. All you had to worry about as an adolescent is like, who likes you? Are your clothes cool? And can I drive yet? And I'm downplaying adolescence. I apologize to any adolescents who might be living, or the people who love adolescence. Oh my goodness. But there was less responsibility.
Exactly.
Like you could, besides the fact that when we went through adolescence, nobody was documenting it. And now they have to all worry about
it's all documented.
It's all documented.
It's all documented.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, so if people don't know who you are, you are Midlife Maven. On Instagram, you are Alicia E. You got a big Instagram, girl. You blew up 2025. 2025 blew you up.
Yeah, it all started at the end of 2023, which was crazy because I never anticipated all of this happening. Honestly,
you're natural. Also,
well, I've been posting forever on social media.
That's what people say. But you're such a good podcast interviewer. I'm like, it's year 7,
right? They're just seeing just right now. They might be just starting to watch now, but they don't realize all of the reps that you put in.
Don't you believe that? People are like, oh yeah, overnight success takes 10 years. Just FYI.
100%. I literally had been posting on social media for years and years and years and years and years. And I just was at a point where I'm like, hey, if I help 1 or 2 women, great. And then all of a sudden stuff just started taking off. I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this. It's amazing.
So good. For so cool. People to understand, because I think a stereotype is we look at fit women and we say, well, you're special, you're unique, you're a snowflake. Mere mortals can't do, get the look that you have. Like people don't believe that you're a normal human. Right. With good consistency habits, right? Yeah. But I think the most powerful thing about your Instagram is that you publish the before pictures.
Yeah. Yeah,
so take us to the before.
Yeah. So the before, I mean, I kind of like to go back to when I got sober, because that was really when I started to take a hard look at some of the habits that I knew were holding me back. So that was at age 45. And that's really, my early 40s was when I started to really notice my body, just things were different. Like things were changing. what's going on here? This is not the same as it used to be. And I've always been into fitness. I've always been, it's been really the most prominent reason for my mental health. Just throughout life is just, I need this for my mental health. Obviously, everything else that follows is wonderful. The physical benefits, the aesthetic benefits, all that is wonderful. But I just always knew from a very young age that I needed this for my mental health. So it's always been a part of my life. But I did notice things starting to change as I came into my 40s, and that alcohol habit had been around for over 20 years. And I was just like, I'm just not processing this the way that I used to. It's making me feel worse. I have a lot of guilt. I have a lot of shame around it. I'm just feeling like crap in general. And I got sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And so I got sober, and it literally was just like multiple times of trying to do a dry January or a sober October. And it finally just, sometimes you have to do that a couple times before it just sticks, you got to try it a couple times. And so it just,
what did you use? Tools, podcasts, coaching?
Well,
what tools did you use for that?
So I was going into the last 90 days. I'm just a big fan of the last 90 days of the year because it's when everything is really ramping up and life is getting busy. So how could you possibly think of taking away the habit that's like hardest to break during that last 90 days when life is going to be stressful? And I thought, no, I like to rise to challenges. So I'm going to do this. And I discovered when I went into that last 90 days challenge of removing alcohol, I was just going to remove alcohol, just that one thing, not anything else, just focus on one thing. And I discovered the book, This Naked Mind. And it's...
I have not read that yet.
Oh, it changed my life.
Everybody says that that's the book.
It is. And I know there's multiple books out there that are super effective. And, it depends on, which one's going to really hit home for you. But for whatever reason, that one just hit me between the eyes. And I don't know. It helped me to see things in a whole different perspective and understand that I needed to create a new identity. This was about creating a new identity for myself. And I started just literally consuming all of her stuff, her podcasts. She has something called a 30-day alcohol experiment. I did that. And obviously just gobbled up the book. And I feel like something clicked in me after I read that. And when I made the decision and I was tired of feeling sick and tired, and it just stuck. And I was like, I got to the end of the 90 days. I'm like, I feel freaking amazing. I got through all the holidays and all the parties and all the events. Fine. It was fine. Don't make a big deal out of it. With as far as like social situations, like don't make a big deal out of it. It just is. It is what it is. And I felt so freaking good. I was like, wow. I mean,
did you lose any friends over it?
I mean, I think there was probably some, reactions like, oh, like maybe I was invited to less things, or maybe, I don't know. But my solid friends that I still have now, they're still my solid friends, and that just, I think that's a testament to who your real friends are. They're going to love you and support you through whatever phase. The friends that actually lose you they're meant to be gone. You're meant to get new friends.
They needed you drinking.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But the real people will stick around and love you. And luckily I have those kinds of people in my life. And so,
and for the people who don't, you will find them. Like you will find the sober people. Like people are like, who am I going to hang out with? You will find them if you don't currently have them. So that's not a reason to keep drinking, people.
They will come into your life, because I noticed after I got sober, people came into my life that were sober. I was like, this is great.
I know. No, it's so badass.
And, and it's not to say that there's not going to be times and moments like 2020 came around and everybody was drinking. And so I got sober in 2018 and everybody is just boozing it up. We're home. We're just drinking all day, every day. And I just thought, oh man, I remember there being a moment like, this is stressful.
Yeah, like, why not?
Stressful time right now for everybody. Like, this would be kind of nice. But I kept thinking about, who am I? And who do I want to be? And how do I want to show up? And how is this actually going to make me feel? Like really actually being intentional about my thoughts around it. It's like, this is not worth it. 10, 20 minutes of feeling good. And then however many days or weeks of feeling like ass, like, is that worth it? No. So that was like step one for me in this whole like part of my life of midlife. Right. Mm-hmm. And so a few years pass, raising teenagers. Both my girls are now 24 and 21. My oldest had left for school out of state, for college out of state. And then my youngest was going into her senior year. And it was just, it was stressful. It was a stressful time. It was just raising teenagers is, oh my gosh, it's stressful. Anybody out there raising teens? But it was one of those years where it was just like everything wrong that could happen was happening with her. And it was a struggle. And I was trying to be there and help her through it. But I noticed myself kind of falling into habits with sugar. and, you know, you using that to kind of soothe my stress.
Yep.
And it was,
it's the new alcohol.
Yeah, it is. It's an easy transfer from alcohol to sugar. And I just noticed I was more stressed. I was looking to that to relieve my stress. And even though I was still moving my body, I knew that my food was not ideal, and I wasn't feeling the best. And when I got her off to college, I just decided, you know what? I'm turning 50 this next year. And while everybody is telling me and everybody else and all the other women in the world that it's just going to start going downhill as you get older, I'm going to do the exact opposite, and I'm going to go all in on me. But I need to change up my modality, because what I'm doing right now isn't working. And I never ever want to talk down about any kinds of movements or anything, because I always just say, if a woman loves a certain form of movement and she enjoys that, then that's great. But I knew that I wanted a different result for myself, and I wanted to actually like look like I work out. And I stopped all that long form cardio, all the HIIT, and I just started lifting. I started getting back into the weight room. It made me nervous to get back into the gym. When I got back into the gym, I started lifting, progressive overload. There's a difference. And I locked in my nutrition. I quit the processed sugars, and I started just walking. I started doing daily walks. It's so simple, but I started noticing just this, my body responded like this. It was like my body had just been asking for this. It was like magic. It was amazing. And as I was transforming, I was sharing. I kept sharing and sharing and sharing on social media, and I just kept getting more and more ripped. And I just kept sharing, and I guess the ladies liked it. They were like, "What? How? Huh?" And I'm like, "Let me tell you, I'll show you. Come on board, let's go." And it's just taken off ever since. It's crazy.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Before we move,
I will say this, because I know you said, and I was a regular person. I was a regular mom. Okay. I was a portrait photographer before this. I did portrait photography for 13 years. So I had a studio. I worked outside, did lots of seniors and families and all that. So I was working as a portrait photographer before all of this took off. I was a mom, wife, all the things. I'm not some weird, different person. I'm just a regular gal.
Right. Yeah. She's a regular person. She doesn't have the, 10 people preparing your food for you and making your life easier so that you can do this. And like, I think it's like, and I think that to the detriment of the population to put that on women, to be like, oh, you're special though. Because if you're special, it explains why I don't have that.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yes. And it actually,
I get that comment a lot. Mm-hmm. And I understand that there are different ebbs and flows of life, right? Where there's busier times in life when you're raising kids and the kids are at home. But I think there's certain habits that you can still instill and put in place now that are going to serve you. They're like, you put those habits in place now, and later on, maybe even when you have more time and space to go all in, you'll be ready because you've had those habits as a part of your life.
You have the habits. Right? Before we get too far ahead, define progressive overload.
So progressive overload is when you are, a lot of times people say, I lift weights, okay? And they're doing like a boot camp class or circuit training, where you're doing movements one after the other, after the other, after the other. You're never resting. You're using maybe 10-pound dumbbells, and you're doing that for all of the movements, and you're never resting. Progressive overload is you're following a specific program. Usually I stick to a program for 4 to 6 weeks. It can be longer, but you're doing the same movements really each week. But you have a goal so say, for example, I did squats last week and I did 100 pounds. Okay. I squatted 100 pounds and I did 10 reps. Okay. So I'm going in week 2 or week 3, maybe you want to do it. Especially if you're just starting out, you want to go slow. You want to go slower. You want to still challenge yourself. You don't want to injure yourself, but you can usually lift heavier than you think you can. But so for example, I did 100 pounds. And I did maybe 12 reps. So I'm like, okay, I think maybe I didn't feel like I went all out. Maybe I can go a little bit heavier this next week. So I'm going to go to maybe 105, maybe 110. Even if I only do 10 or 11 reps, if I'm pushing myself, if those last 2 to 3 reps feel really, really hard, I know I push myself really hard. I'm going to see if I can keep going up. So that's the goal of progressive overload, is that you're constantly challenging the muscle more. That's how you're going to make your muscles grow, is by progressive overload. If you're using the same weight week in and week out with the same movements, that muscle is not going to be challenged to grow. Also, your nutrition needs to be in line with that. So this is what I see with a lot of women. They're not eating enough. So they want to do progressive overload, but you also got to, the nutrition part is important too. You got to be eating enough to put on muscle. But the idea is that you're going to challenge that muscle, and then it'll adapt to that new weight. And then it adapts, and then you challenge it again. And you go heavier again. That's progressive overload.
I think one of the things,
you can add a rep, or there's different things you can do, but that's kind of the basic. Yeah.
The basics. Yeah. Don't do the same thing all the time. It's exercise. I actually saw this thing on Instagram very recently, and it was a male trainer, and he's like, I can tell when people are in the gym if they're exercising versus if they're like on a program trying to build, because like
training,
they behave different. Yeah,
exercising or training.
Exercising or training. And that was I just thought it was a beautiful way that somebody broke it down, of like, you actually have to do the same things over again, but heavier.
Yes.
Versus like, what do I feel like doing today? Let's do some legs.
Right.
Which I fall into that trap because I like novelty and let's do something new, and I don't want to get bored and blah, blah, blah. Of like, no, when you train, you actually do the same things for several weeks with the goal of getting heavier on it.
Boring gets results. That's the saying.
Boring gets results.
But you got to learn how to push yourself. That's why I say you got to learn how to kick your own ass.
Yeah, nice. Did you have a trainer at the beginning to work on form, or did you already I felt
pretty good about my form, and I've always, as you see, I've videoed myself a lot.
Oh yeah, so you check your form.
So like, I'll check my own form. And I had done CrossFit for 8 years, and then I had been in the gym even before CrossFit and doing a little bit of progressive overload, not as much, obviously, as what I've done in the last few years. So I felt we were pretty good at my CrossFit gym about really nailing down form. So I felt like I was pretty in touch with my body, but I'm still always scrutinizing my form. I'm still looking at videos and saying, what could I do better?
Because you can lift heavier if you get a little sloppy.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And sometimes you get your form correct. You're like, oh, I need to decrease the weight because I can't do this weight properly with this, with this my form, how it is. So I felt like I have had years of really understanding my body and feeling like I have good form with my body. So yeah.
What do you think it was for you? And I know everybody's different, but like some people have like amazing results with CrossFit. Why for you the shift away from CrossFit? How do you think it's working better for you now with doing that shift?
Well, it's actually, CrossFit is more of a hybrid type training. And to me, I think that women in my age group have better results with strength training, with progressive overload strength training. I see the better results with this. But for me, I specifically wanted to sculpt a physique. I wanted to sculpt the muscles. CrossFit is more hybrid training. So you are lifting, but it's more, there's a little bit more cardiovascular involved. Whereas, actually going, muscle hypertrophy, where you're actually focusing on putting muscle on your body, you're actually sculpting and forming and chiseling your body. It's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
I noticed that like 2025, I got more sleep than I had in a long time because I no longer took call at the hospital. And to me, I'm like, God, I don't know, I hate to say it, but like, that seems to be really important for physiques, is you've got to sleep. And I think like whether it's powerlifting or physique training, everybody says you must take rest seriously.
Yes. Oh yeah. Big time. That is, and I think that's something, honestly, I get that question so often with ladies. I feel like it's something we're chasing in perimenopause and menopause. We're constantly like, how can I get enough sleep? How can I get the sleep thing down? Because 7 to 8 is, for me, that's a sweet spot. Obviously, if I were to get any more, that'd be amazing. But 7 to 8 hours, sweet spot. But you notice your body is off. When you don't get enough sleep, everything is off. It messes up your hunger hormones. And you feel exhausted. You feel that fatigue. Sleep is everything. That's where everything regenerates and restores.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's absolutely huge. And there's so many people who are shift workers and like they can't have their job and get sufficient adequate rest. And so you're kind of trying to work around that and be like, okay, well, on the days that you can, you really got to dial it in. Don't stay up late on those days. And like sleep is really, really important.
Yeah. It's just like anything, being so intentional with how you live. I mean, like, oh, well, I guess I probably should turn off the binge watching for now, or stop binge scrolling and doom scrolling and go to bed, and have a sleep hygiene routine to help me get better sleep. It's just being so intentional about your choices and how you live. It's really, it's a hard one. But I think for a lot of us too, for a lot of us women, and what we struggle, I don't know, maybe you can tell me if you see this in your practice, but we get to sleep fine. It's just the waking up. The waking up in the middle. Yeah, the 3 or 4 wake up.
People are exhausted, so they tend to be able to fall asleep really well.
Right.
But it's the sustained sleep that's a problem.
Yes.
I mean, to me, I'm like, my personal pride is getting people off THC gummies for sleep. Because the sleep experts will be like, that is no good for your brain. It is not good for your brain.
Yeah.
And so I probably just in 2025, I probably got 6 people off THC gummies.
Wow.
With hormones.
That's
because
amazing.
They don't really want to take the THC gummies, but like they're sleep shitty. And so they kind of, they're just happy to be sleeping, and then they don't need the THC gummies anymore. And so I just yesterday, a woman's like, I don't need my THC gummies anymore. And I'm like, there's another one.
I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, what I love is my magnesium. I do have magnesium complex at night. And then, I started HRT a little over a year ago. And I do think the progesterone helps with my sleep.
God's gift.
So
God's gift to sleep, for sure.
Yes. I mean, I wasn't sleeping for a while because of hot flashes. It was just like, I can't sleep. It was waking me up all night long.
You up. What's your journey on that? Because a lot of women and a lot of women will say, I don't want to take prescription medication, especially the healthy women, right? I don't want to take the stigma of taking a prescription as like you failed, or now you have some, and it's like the stigma of a prescription is butting heads with like the benefits of hormone therapy.
Yes.
And so where was your journey on like getting to the point where you're like, let's try these things?
Well, I will tell you, I was kind of like that person.
That's why we're talking.
I mean, I was kind of that person where I've always been like, hey, rub some dirt in it, pick up yourself, let's go.
Yeah.
Just figure it out, just rub some dirt in it, let's go. So I kind of was almost putting it off as long as I possibly could, because I just thought, okay, I can just figure this out. I can just do this with my lifestyle and how I live, and we'll work around it, and I'll maybe take certain supplements. And then I just got to a point where I was like, I was hot flashing. I'm not kidding you. It was like multiple times per hour, on the hour, all throughout the night. My sleep was wrecked. I'm like, and this has been going on for a couple of years. And then I would read the studies that would say, this could go on for however many more, like another 10 years. I'm like, no, we're not doing it. I'm not doing that. I can't do this. It was because it was affecting my quality of life.
Your suffering got to be enough.
Yes, it was enough to where I'm literally just drenched in sweat constantly everywhere I go. So I said, I need to do that. I need to try this. And then once I started taking it, I thought, oh, actually, this is also just making me feel good in general, overall, more like myself. And like, it's amazing. And now I feel amazing. I don't know. I feel amazing. I feel so good. I'm going to be on it for the foreseeable future. I don't see why.
There's no reason to stop. Well, it's we're aging at a time where the science supporting the health benefits of its use is like, just helping support you being like, it's not just not suffering, but that's nice too.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's, because of my mentality around it, that's like where I had to get to. Yeah. And now I see all the benefits, and now that I understand more, and everything's been so emergent over the last few years, right? With the whole movement. So it's all kind of been flooding in, and we're understanding more now. But I will say it's been a game changer.
I think a stigma of fit women, and men get this too, is people will look at you, and if they find out you're on hormones, they'll be like, she looks like that because she's on hormones. Yeah. And it's like, everybody wants a quick excuse. Oh, yeah. And they want to give the hormones way more power than they actually have. Right. Of like, no. Yeah. And people, they'll ask me, they're like, can a woman get muscles if she takes testosterone? I'm like, no, not if she doesn't exercise and feed them.
Exactly.
Right. So it's like hormones
this
are,
is why I always say, hey, I have, and I'll post regularly about it. And I'll say, hey, look at this photo of me before I went on HRT. I'm pretty freaking shredded. I'm pretty ripped. Like, I look at how muscular I look.
Yeah.
This was before I started anything.
Yeah.
So, right there, people are like, oh, okay. And then I say, hormones bring our levels into normal range. We're not in enhanced range.
That's right.
Normal range.
Yeah.
So this isn't, people think it's some type of enhancement. It's like, no, it's normally tanked in the gutter. Right. This is bringing us up to normal.
Yeah.
So, which makes us all happy and feel good. So,
yes.
but I love
I think that again,
having the photos.
It's the excuse people use to be like, well, she looks like that because she's on hormones. And so that's why I don't look like that, is because I can't take hormones or blah,
It's just
blah,
another thing.
And it's like,
another thing.
No, hormones won't do that. And especially for the people who can't take hormones, which more people can than they think they can, but there are some that can't. I'm like, walk, lift weights, eat healthy, sleep.
Yep.
Like, there's so much you can do that hormones won't do those things for you.
Exactly.
But if you're sleeping, you feel like eating better, right?
Exactly.
Like the sugar cravings help because you're sleeping better. Like it all plays a part.
That's why I always say, like, if you don't do the work, like they're a tool to help you. They might, make you they're going to make you more optimized to do all the things and accomplish all the things you want to accomplish. But if you just take them alone and expect some kind of crazy results, that's not going to happen. You got to put in the work too.
Yeah.
So
totally. Yeah. You got on stage recently. Not just, I know you speak on stage, but you got like almost naked on stage recently.
Yeah. That stage.
The naked stage.
Yeah, but the buns out.
The buns out. The part where they glue the swimsuit on.
Yeah, I didn't have to glue anything. It's kind of nice. But they give you a glaze before you go on stage. You go and wait in line, and they have like all this oily stuff on their gloves, and they just glaze your entire body. So you look all nice and glazed and silky and shiny when you go on stage. It's kind of fun.
There's bright lights, I'm glad they give you good body makeup for it. Okay, so was that a bikini competition? What did you do, and why did you do it?
Well, it's so funny. I've always thought about one, and I thought, I'm just not ready yet. But it always kind of been one of those things in the back of my head, like, just, I don't know, I like to try new things and do different things and challenge myself in new ways. Why not? And I got a crazy wild hair 2 weeks before this competition, which never happens. But there's a gal that's a trainer at my gym, and she's a bodybuilder as well. She's amazing. She's a pro. She's an IFBB pro. She's coached a ton of women in my age range. She's amazing. And I said, look, I'm going to ask you this. Tell me if I'm crazy. I said, please be honest with me. Tell me if I'm crazy. Can I do this in 2 weeks? And she said, Alicia, you are one of 2 people that I would say yes to. There's only one other person that I would say yes to. And I would say yes to you because of your lifestyle and how you live.
Yeah. You're already almost there.
I'm pretty darn close. So I did a 2-week prep and ordered my bikini from like a ready to go, ready to ship selection, because usually those bikinis take a while to get them made. They can be
custom, right?
Custom made. So I was just like, oh yeah, whatever's ready to ship, I just want green. And I started practice the posing, because the posing part is the hardest part. It's so hard. It's a workout in itself.
Everybody says it's hard.
Yeah, and you're doing it in these freaking heels. But I was like, this is so fun. This is fun. I like this. And just went up and I just did. I didn't have any expectations. The only thing I wanted to do was just have the experience and experience it and see what it was like and just have fun. That's the only thing I was
Did you have fun?
I had so much fun. And I kind of in a way want to do it again. There's part of me that wants to do it again.
Probably.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It might be like getting a tattoo, they're like, once you get one, you're like thinking about the next one.
It.
Yeah.
But honestly, so I had to do a 2-week calorie deficit. And I have not, when I initially did the start of this whole transformation journey of myself, I did a calorie deficit for 3.5 months, right? I lost about 15 pounds. And then from then on, I've been in maintenance and just doing body recomposition, which that blows a lot of ladies away. And that's always something I want to talk about with the ladies, because you don't have to, you don't necessarily have to do the bulk. You can't, some people, everybody's kind of different, but body recomposition, eating and maintenance, game changer. So
that's what I need you to help me with.
Yeah. I haven't been in a deficit. And I hadn't been in a deficit for 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. So I had to go into a deficit. And I was like, this is hard. This is really hard. But it was fine. By the end of the 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back to maintenance and feeling, energized in my lifts and going to bed feeling satisfied. But yeah, it's the body recomposition is, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. It's very simple. It really is. But it's eating.
So for people who don't know what it is, let's talk about what it is.
Body recomposition is basically when your body burns fat and builds muscle simultaneously. So what I did was I lost weight. I wanted to lose weight. I got to a body weight that I was totally happy with. And I said, from here on out, I just want to eat in maintenance, which means eating to maintain your current body weight. You're eating enough food to maintain your current body weight, and just push really hard in the gym. Really apply that progressive overload in the gym and work really hard, but it takes time. This is the one thing that ladies want stuff to happen quick. But body recomposition takes, months. And you can even see my progress over the last 3 years. As I've just been just kept pushing in the gym and just eating in maintenance, you can see. But it literally, you just see the scale stays the exact same. I always show people this little visual, because people say, oh wait, muscle weighs more than fat. Well, no, muscle doesn't weigh more than fat. They weigh the same. Okay. A pound of fat is the same as a pound of muscle, but look at what the muscle looks like.
This
smaller. Is why you look so sculpty and lean, weighing the exact same that you did with more fat on your body. When you burn fat and build muscle at the same time, the muscle is more compact. That's why you look sexy, sculpty, lean, but you can be weighing the same as you did before.
Yep.
That makes sense?
Yep.
I don't know if that clarifies that, but
for people who are audio only, she held up a piece of muscle and a piece of fat, and to show that the fat is bigger than the muscle, and they're both 1 pound.
Yeah, they both weigh the exact same. It just, the composition is completely different.
Okay, so do you have to do you just hop on a scale and be like, okay, I'm still at X, I must be eating enough? Like, can you literally ballpark it like that for the people who are like
the scale? Yeah, I'll check the scale and say, oh, okay, I'm right around the same body weight. If I hover within the same couple of pounds, I'm staying around that same body weight.
And then just listen, dude, you're making it sound way easier than I think a lot of people think it is. They're like, do I need a scale? Do I need macros? Do I need blah, blah,
I would suggest following macros for body composition goals. I would always suggest that, but eating and maintenance macros. And then, I always say get a DEXA scan every so often, maybe twice a year, just to track your progress, because the scale can only tell you so much. Your DEXA is going to give you all the nitty gritty that you want to know.
The truth.
Your body fat, your lean muscle mass, your bone density. That's going to give you you want to know all that stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely, you need to know your macros for the body composition part. You want to be getting enough protein, enough carbs, and enough fats.
Yep.
But once you get that dialed in,
is there an easy online calculator for that, or do you have to
you can go to tdeecalculator.net.
tdeecalculator.net.
So that's going to get your TDEE. That's going to give you your total per day. You just want to make sure, if you're tracking, a lot of times what women do is they have it connected to their other apps, and so then the tracker wants to minus out their movement calories, and no, because the TDEE accounts for everything.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah,
well, it's good, I think, to give women some tools to start being like, okay, follow this, don't do that, this is fine.
Yeah. That calculator will tell you, depending on if you want to go to a deficit and lose, fat, it'll tell you what you need to do for a deficit, what you need to do for maintenance, and what you need to do for a surplus. Now, is it possible that there's going to be nuance? Yeah. You might need to tweak it a little bit, because everybody is their own physical specimen. So, you might need to tweak it a little bit for yourself, but it's going to give you a ballpark to start with.
Yep.
And then you can kind of, play around with it a little bit. But also, one thing to note too is, as you body recomp and you put more muscle on your body, you're probably going to need to increase your food, because muscle is metabolically active. So it demands more fuel.
It demands more fuel.
It demands the fuel.
It demands
which is so good.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Eat more.
And then you get to eat more, which is super fun.
It's so good.
What are some of the big myths or things that women are saying on your Instagram that you really want to debunk or educate women about?
As far as the comments, or
or about lifting weights or eating, or anything, and or what they think about you that's not true.
Oh, well, the HRT thing comes up all the time. People think I'm in a deficit. They always think, oh, you must be eating in a deficit, or you're under eating because of the way I look, because of my muscles, because of how lean I am.
Yep.
And I'm like, I've been eating in maintenance for a while. I have very shredded abs.
Yep.
And so one thing that women need to understand is that, we all carry body fat differently, right? We
Yep.
all, like, I naturally lean up top in my upper half of my body. Okay. I naturally lean up here. I carry more fat in my lower body. So my abs they just have a mind of their own. And I do weighted ab movements that makes your abs pop a little bit more. So, but people just have this misunderstanding that if you have that lean muscular look, you're not eating enough. You're under eating.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish I could take you along for my day so you could see what I eat.
Yeah. I love it when you do that. And for people who don't believe her, she came to my clinic, she got on my InBody, and which InBody is a bioimpedance body composition scale. And the InBody, it's very rare for the InBody to say like perfectly matched. There's no fat to lose. There's no muscle to gain. Basically, it'll tell you, right? And she was like 0 and 0. So she was like perfect. InBody was like ding, 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 ding. So remember that?
That's too funny. I love it. I love it.
So we put her on the scale. We evaluated her for frailty, and she is not frail.
No frailty found.
No frailty found.
No
0 for 0.
Yeah. I know that's the other thing. People think because I'm lean also and I'm petite. Then you see the weight loads that I'm pushing. I'm like, you can be lean and petite and still be pushing really heavy weights. For me, like,
oh my God, do you follow the woman? I forget her name. She's like 55. She is like the world's masters bench press champion.
Yes, Jen Thompson.
Thank you. I'm like, I think her name's Jennifer.
She's insane. Like her bench, I can't bench press goal. I cannot. That's bench one press lift that I'm weak on.
Is insane.
It's like, I feel like I saw even a post this morning. It was like 300 something.
Yeah, no. It's for people who don't know, it's multiple plates. Oh, it's multiple plates.
Which I literally can do like 95 or something.
Yeah. I'm up. My 1 rep max on bench press is 80 now. And my goal for 2026 is 100. But then I'm like, why is it 100? Why isn't it my body weight?
Yeah.
I'm watching Jen enough that I'm like, maybe it should be my body weight.
She is a specimen, but she works at it. But but she's
been doing it for years. That's the thing is like, just keep, because people want it to happen fast. You cannot be, it doesn't happen fast. And Jen's been doing it for years and years and years and plural years.
That's why I always just push that it's so important to fall in love with a lifestyle. You got to fall in love with your lifestyle, because otherwise it's going to be a fleeting thing. It can't just be like, oh, I got to get in shape for this event, or, it can't be a superficial reason. You got to love it because you love it and you love what you eat and you love how you move and you love the lifestyle. Yeah. And it'll just keep you going. Yeah. You'll see and celebrate the little wins along the way. Like the little tiny things that you celebrate are, little ups in your weight, little things that you do that are just little tiny wins. Celebrate that along the way, but just know it takes time. All good things take time.
All good things take time. And I think people are like, oh, you do it for the look of like, being strong feels good. Uh-huh. And I don't think that's spoken about a lot, of like, it actually feels good. It doesn't really does. Yes, it looks good, but it feels good.
But you feel like a badass.
Yeah.
You feel amazing. You feel powerful.
Yeah.
From the inside out, you start to just feel like a new person. It builds your confidence in so many ways.
I love it.
You become a new person as you build muscle. It's highly recommend.
Well, I think that's like the mindset that isn't like you have to become the person who has muscle. And I know I have a lot of room to grow on that also, but like, I understand mindset. I have to get out of the, like, it's hard. Muscle is hard. Gaining muscle is hard. I have to like change. I have to work on my mindset with that.
My mindset is huge. Like the mind is I think it's the most powerful tool in our bodies. Yeah. The body goes where the mind goes. It is. And that's why it's like with my group coaching ladies, that's the first thing that I have them do is do the mindset stuff, do the mindset curriculum, because like that, you need to get your mind right, because most people just start something and then they quit. Yeah. You always hear about it, like the New Year's resolutions and the New Year's goals start a couple of weeks later, 3 weeks later, they quit. So it's a mindset thing and it's an identity thing. You have to know why you want this. What is it that you want? Get super clear on what you want, and then get super clear on what your daily habits are going to be to get you there. And you have to understand that your new identity hasn't been formed yet. Like, you're forming a new identity and like you're becoming a new person. And the more you repeat those habits day in and day out, you'll eventually become that person. You got to be able to stick with it and repeat those habits on the daily. And then pretty soon you're like, oh, I'm a new person now. That's what Alicia was talking about. Like, yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. Looking ahead, what's your 2026 plan? Tell people where they can find you with the group coaching. What's going to be new?
Oh yeah. So everything
besides hanging out with me.
Yes, I know we do. We're going to plan a lifting session here soon.
I know we do.
Just going to keep cruising with what I'm doing. I might be coming out with some more VIP kind of one-on-one coaching potentially, because right now I have my app, which is all my lifting programs. And then I have group coaching, which is amazing. So that's just if you need that kind of extra layer of accountability. And again, we have mindset curriculum, nutrition curriculum, movement curriculum. And then we meet every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We meet on a live call every Monday. I'm on the call. So it's Alicia Erickson app.com. That's where you can find everything. And like I said, we might be starting to come out with some VIP coaching. It's kind of in the works right now.
So that's fun for you. Fun for you.
I'm pumped. And to me, there could be nothing more satisfying than watching the women's faces light up and see their lives light up when they start to feel that muscle coming on. They start to feel that strength. They start to feel empowered. Then we're in the group empowering each other, because not everybody has like that person or people in their life that are going to, encourage them in that way. And so it's really, really cool to see this community building. That is my goal, is just how many more women can I impact? How many more women can I get to like just gas themselves up and feel amazing about themselves and feel empowered, when everybody wants us to feel disempowered at this time in our lives? Like, no, this is your prime. Girls, Dude, this is your prime.
I was like literally on NPR very recently. Yeah. And they're like, the question they lobbed at me was like, tell women why this is an okay time to be alive. Like, it was like such a low bar of a like, tell them why menopause isn't the end of it all. Like, it was I'm killing their question, but it was basically like, wait, hold on. Our mindset is that this is over. Like, dude, and so then I went into like, historically in many cultures, the older, wiser women were the leaders. They're the wise people. They're the wisdom carriers. Like, our society prioritizes youth and beauty at the expense of you thinking you're worth anything. And it's so not okay.
It is so good. Seriously, that is how it should be. The older women with the wisdom. I love that. It's
totally
true.
Dude, you've done hard things. You raised teenagers. Like, what can't you do?
Right? I love that.
I know, it's so good. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us and inspiring us.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, your Instagram's going to hit 1 million in 2026. Speaking of things that are going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Manifest. Oh, it's going to happen. It's very exciting.
I'm pumped. I'm just like, the more impact, the better.
It's a revolution, my friends, and it's televised.
I love it. It's so good. I love you.
Awesome. I love you too. Thanks for coming on. Until next time.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.